I was getting some yard work done. I was going to trim a tree in my front yard and save myself $500. So in my infinite wisdom, I stood atop an 8-foot ladder on the top step, and my brilliant plan was I'll hold a limb with one hand and saw with the other. Something goes wrong, I drop the saw, I grab the limb, and I gently drop to the ground, and it's all good. It didn't happen that way.
I guess you're just broken. I guess you're just hoping for more. I guess you're just reaching. I guess you're just in need of love. You're not alone.
Love.
You're not alone.
Let's come back.
In this.
Okay.
I guess
Okay.
I'm just broken.
Left.
I guess
Okay.
I'm just hoping for more. I guess I'm just reaching. I guess I'm just
Okay.
in need of love. I'm not alone.
All right.
I'm not alone.
Let's do this.
In this.
My name is Lonnie Ray Alexander, and this is my story. I spent 25 years, 10 months, and 9 days with the Harris County Sheriff's Office. I spent 11 years on the street as a patrolman. The job, I was already a cynical, sarcastic person to begin with. Over that time, I became more hard, I became mean, I became angry, I didn't like myself, so how am I going to like anyone else? Everything you have in life, this is where our parents taught us, you're earned. No one gives you anything, and that's how I approach my spiritual condition. So I spent my entire life trying to earn unconditional love, acceptance, fitting in, and it's not possible to earn everything. You never arrive. It's a continuous journey, if you will. But I can tell you that intensified the lack of, I would say, compassion for people. You learn to dislike people and distrust people more and more and more. To back up a little, how I ended up in CrossFit was I had a sergeant that worked with me that was a CrossFitter, and he was part owner in a CrossFit box. One day on a Saturday afternoon, he brings his computer in, he's watching the CrossFit games, and I'm asking, what are you watching? And he tells me, look man, you don't even need to worry about it because this isn't for you. And I was determined that I was going to show him he was wrong. So I went and visited a box, this real small place. And the first person I meet is J.B. McDougal. And he introduced himself, I introduced myself, I tell him what I'm there for, and he goes, well, we need to see where you are physically. Well, no big deal. So he ran me through some squats, some other things. I said, so now am I good and ready to start? He goes, no. He said, you're gonna have to go through a 2-week foundations class. I said, what is that? So he explains it to me. And I'm thinking, man, I don't need that. I've been working out since I'm 15. I'm a good, I don't need that. Well, I had a real snotty attitude. And there was a young lady who was there who was still a member of CrossFit at U Turn. And he says, okay, I'll tell you what, you go do what she does. And I tried to do what she was doing. She ran circles around me. And I'm completely humiliated. And he saw it on my face. He says, come here, I want to show you something. Walked outside and he said, turn around and look over the front door. And it said, leave your ego at the door. And I just stared at it and he goes, you need to take that to heart. And I remember one incident that still sticks in my mind. And I don't know who this guy was, but he was arrogant, he was pompous, and he was not helping others. He was actually talking down to people. And I remember JB pulling to the side and he said, that's not acceptable here. You either change your behavior or you're gonna leave. He left, I've never seen him since. That's when I understood what this was really all about. This wasn't just about physical exercise. This was about relationships. This was about people. June the 5th, 2018, in fact, I remember I had gone and worked out the day before. I was starting a vacation. I was getting some yard work done. I was going to trim a tree in my front yard and save myself $500. So in my infinite wisdom, I stood atop an 8-foot ladder on the top step, and my brilliant plan was I'll hold a limb with one hand and saw with the other. Something goes wrong, I drop the saw, I grab the limb, and I gently drop to the ground, and it's all good. It didn't happen that way. I remember a thud, and I remember waking up trying to get air. I don't know how bad this is, but it's bad. I remember getting to the hospital, and I distinctly remember when you pull a gurney out, a gurney has a certain sound, and when the legs unfold, they have a certain sound when they click. And I remember he pulled out, I heard it click, so I knew we were moving. And this part of the story is very important because it tells you what place I was in. I remember I had to go to the bathroom. I couldn't hold it. The smell, I can still remember, it was so disgusting. I was so humiliated. And I remember in my mind praying, God, let me pass out. I can't handle this embarrassment. And I passed out. When you're at that point, you have no dignity. The arrogance you once had, it's gone. There's a realization that I can do nothing for myself. I'm depending on people I don't even know to keep me alive, to clean me up. It's real noisy, and I hear a voice say, we're gonna have to do something, and we're gonna have to do it quick. What has happened, and what am I doing here? And I remember this voice, it was just a very authoritative voice, said, it's none of your concern. Moved a little further, and I remember thinking, hey, I ought to see Dad. Dad ought to be here. Then it dawned on me, if I'm looking for my dad, I'm dying, because my father died in January 2014. I remember looking to my left, and I saw a window, and through the window was a beautiful blue sky and white clouds. And I instinctively knew that was heaven. And I knew that that window was the portal into heaven, that if I stepped through it, I was in eternity. Then I remember the gurney stopped. And I looked to my right, and there was a purple brick painted just like the others' bricks. Well, that's my wife's favorite color. We moved a little further, and I said, hold on, I can't die. Who's gonna take care of Dolly? And once again, that voice said, it's none of your concern. The gurney turns around and starts moving where we came from. I turn my head to my right, and I see a white screen. And I saw pictures of my 3 children, from the oldest to the youngest, when they were toddlers. At this point, the noise is very loud. I look up, I see that skylight again, and I hear a voice say, let's do it, and let's do it now. And I flatlined. I don't know how long I flatlined, but I was dying. I was dead, but here I am. It took a while, but I found out that I had broken 13 ribs. I'd punctured a lung. I broke a finger on my left hand. I had a traumatic brain injury. I fractured a bone in my upper lower part of my spine. They didn't know it at the time, but I nicked an artery and I was bleeding internally. I had blood clots in my legs and my lungs. They put me on blood thinner. I had an IVC filter put in. They knew this for sure, that I would have short-term memory loss to the extent they weren't sure. I picked up going back to school online. I was very concerned about what my brain could take and what it couldn't take. The physical recovery was much quicker than they thought. In fact, every doctor was just amazed at how fast, how physically I came back, and I explained to them this was due to the conditioning physically and mentally of CrossFit. I said, this is a lifestyle, this is relationships, this is people. The mental toughness and stick-to-itness that you develop doing this, you push your body and your mind to where you never thought you could. This was vital in me recovering. All I wanted to do was to get back in that box. I mean, that is all. I wanted to get my driver's license so I could drive to the box. That's all I cared about. So in April 20 of that same year, I walked back into U Turn, and it was like I never left. I was welcomed like I'd never left. And there's two people I need to thank, Lexi and Lupita. They put their arms around me and said, "Welcome back, Lonnie. You're gonna be fine." I was frustrated. I couldn't remember, I couldn't recall, and they just kept telling me, "Don't worry, you're gonna be fine." And when I started working out again, I was scared because I'm like, man, I can't remember the workouts. I can't do this. My injuries, to be around me, you have to have a lot of patience. You can't see the injuries. It's in my brain, and I'm not exaggerating when I can say I can look at the workout, turn around, and I've forgotten it. And it doesn't matter how many times I do that, I won't remember. So they write it on a board. "All right, Lonnie, don't worry about it. We got this. Just write it on the board and just take it with you." And I go there and I have it where I can see it. If they see me getting confused, which I will get confused, they'll come over there and say, "What can I do to help?" And God bless Sam. "Lonnie, that's enough. That's enough. You're not going to turn a 15-minute workout into 45. I like to say the Lonnie that hit the ground in 2018 is dead. And the one that woke up began to transition to a new person. I'm not that same person anymore. I need others. I need people, but I also need to give to others. It's not just about taking. And I realized over time, my goals, my aspirations, they began to change. I'm now interested in what's real. And how do you change people's lives? How do you help them? It may be hard for those that are watching this to understand the correlation between CrossFit and faith, but it's not that hard. Spiritual life, your Christian walk, it is not easy. If someone told you, accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, your problems are over, they lied to you. And CrossFit's tough. CrossFit is mentally and physically taxing and exhausting. You don't think you can take another rep. You don't think you can handle the heat. You don't think you can handle the cold. But you keep on because in the end, it's that joy and that sense of, I did this, I completed this when I didn't think I could. Your spiritual walk is the same way. You're tired, you're hot, you're cold, you're hurt, but you have a joy and a fulfillment and a sense of purpose you cannot understand. You watch somebody that's not as far along as you are and they're struggling, man, they are struggling. And you're the one that goes over there and you encourage them and help them like someone did to you. You're helping others. You're sharing the gospel. You're sharing your struggles. They're sharing, it's a struggle, but there's a purpose, there's a meaning, and it is a formula for life. Do not quit. It makes no difference how hard and uncomfortable it gets. You don't quit. You may walk in feeling like, I don't matter, I don't measure up, I don't belong, and nobody likes me. And it's not gonna take you very long that you're gonna figure out that's not true. And they don't even know you and they accept you. That's what Jesus Christ does to us. We know everything that's wrong with us. We know our faults. Christ accepts us just as we are, where we are. It makes no difference. It makes no difference. Walk of life, financial means, position in life, none of that matters. You walk into a CrossFit box, it's the same thing. Nobody knows or really cares where you came from. All they know is you're there and you're trying. And as long as you're trying, that's all that matters. This is about making you a better all-around person, physically, mentally. When you're better physically, psychologically, emotionally, you're better. You achieve more when you're outside in there doing your job with your family. It all ties in. Your spiritual walk is the same. You just keep on. And it's either it's real or it's not. Either by faith you believe or you don't. Either by faith you believe in yourself and those in that box that you're going to become a better you, or you don't. The only way that doesn't happen is when you quit. You say those words, I quit. I couldn't even get myself out of a bed. I could do nothing for myself. And here I am, November 2020. It's been a little over 2 years. And here I sit. I can tell you, I cannot imagine my life without CrossFit. I just can't. Like I can't imagine my life without my faith. It's impossible.